Hola.
Adiós. A ver,
A ver. A ver qué.
no, nada, estoy por aquí quitando puntos rojos que yo no me he metido en todo el día.
Vale. A ver. A ver, a ver, a ver, a ver, a ver, a ver. Hola, Kerly.
Hola.
El sonido de juego está en fire. ¿Lo escucháis bien respecto a mí? ¿Lo escucháis mal respecto a mí?
Esperamos que lo escuchen bien.
Que puedo bajarle un poquitito. Ahora al menos a la música.
Ujú.
Más alto que nosotros. Vaya, vaya. ¿Así mejor? Vale, pues ahí lo dejo. Esperemos que las voces se escuchen bien. No sé si se van a escuchar más alto o no.
Esperemos.
Vamos a darle.
Perfecto.
Y voy a silenciarme en el otro lado porque no me apetece escucharme a mí mismo hablar.
No era.
Hidratación.
No.
Y si pongo el juego ya, maravilloso. Sí, sí, mucho reírte, pero tampoco me estabas diciendo nada, ¿eh?
A ver,
El juego no quiere abrirse la pestaña ahora. Hace calor.
te estás usando, no te quiero ver en junio, en agosto.
Uf, no quiero existir en junio, ni en lo otro, ni en agosto. O encuesta de satisfacción. Pues no he hecho ninguna encuesta de satisfacción, pero a mí me parece correcto. ¿Dónde tenemos que ir? Dejar de seguir, seguir. Gracias. Aquí, pues venga, vamos a ir. Transportarse a los alrededores. ¿Mi culpa? ¿Mi culpa de qué? O sea, claro, es mi culpa que no haberlo puesto, pero al menos dime que no lo tengo puesto. Si no me doy cuenta, no puedo solucionarlo. Ah, bueno. No sé yo si eso es verdad, pero... Ok. Ah, es verdad. Habíamos peleado a contar gente y teníamos que seguir con... para ir al sitio este donde cantaba
Es
la otra.
verdad. Es que
El pedazo puñetazo que da Tepar. Tiene hasta las físicas del aire alrededor de lo fuerte que lo da. Camino de superestrella.
la última vez hicimos lo de las peleas. No estuvimos contando.
Bueno, tú hiciste las peleas, yo me puse a actuar.
¿Me hiciste la de las peleas también?
No,
No sonaba que sí.
no, no.
Lo del rayito y todo. Lo de la corona esta que estabas jugando.
¿Qué cosa? ¿Qué te has
El
escuchado
directo
la voz?
anterior, el directo anterior de Honkai, hicimos el evento que hay de peleas.
Ah, sí, vale, sí, ese sí. Pero no
Era
tiene
con
nada que
las
ver con
cosas.
esto.
No, por eso digo que el directo anterior no seguimos con.
No, no seguimos con la historia. Estuvimos pegándonos.
No sé.
Aplausos a nuestros jóvenes. Venga. ¿Escucháis bien las voces del juego o no?
Congratulations to the both of you on becoming the festive superstars of this year's Charmony Festival before entering the Grand Theater. I, on behalf of
Pasande.
the organizers, extend my sincere congratulations to you, wishing you joy under their radiance.
Uy, ¿qué estás haciendo aquí?
As previously promised, my sister, Mr. Yang, and I have met with the Dream Master. We delved into the truth about Penacony and its Stellaron, and have come to a consensus.
No me fío nada de este.
Both I and the Oak family cannot acquiesce to your request.
Lo sabía.
Just as expected.
We acknowledge the perspective of you, Nameless. Penacony does require change, but not as you propose. The planet of festivities cannot and will not revert to a place characterized by chaos, disorder, or anarchy. Through your journey of overcoming obstacles, you must have glimpsed the essence of that era. The vulnerable ruthlessly eliminated, equality non-existent, common folk living precarious lives, eking out a dreary existence. Ultimately, only heroes like yourselves manage to achieve success. But I would dare ask, if you did not possess the special status of having a Stellaron, and you were but an anonymous and frail member among the masses, which Penacony would you prefer? A dystopia for the survival of the fittest? Or a sweet dream
Es que no me cae
paradise
nada,
for all?
nada bien Sunday. Lo dije desde el principio y esto me sigue cayendo. No, lo siguiente. En el minuto
Ya,
1. No me gusta.
no lo sé. ¿Por qué lo preguntas?
No me gusta.
That's not the point. Don't let him mislead you.
Mr. Sunday, even if the members of the Oak family can't fully agree on what to do about the Stellaron, now's not exactly the time to be holding an extensive discourse about Penacony's past and future, is it? The Stellaron issue concerns the life and death of everyone on Penacony. If anyone has a better suggestion, the crew is more than willing to listen. Also, it'd be best to tell us the ins and outs of that meeting. This way, we'll at least know what Welt and Ms. Robin are dealing with, and the reason why they failed to make our appointment.
Ah, Navigator. That is precisely my intention. With all present, let's begin by discussing the details of that meeting. Let's talk about our tribulations and choices, our ideals and beliefs, and our final course of action. The only path to take.
Ay. Cuanto mayor sea el riesgo, más grande será la recompensa. Y hacer buen tiempo.
You mean to say that for the longest time, there have been scoundrels who would use the Charmony Festival that I have bequeathed to the masses as a tool to realize their ambition?
Indeed, Dream Master. Once the Charmony Festival begins, the Stellaron's powers, along with the song, will be broadcast across the entire planet of Penacony. And then everyone in their dreams will be unable to awaken.
This is indeed surprising to me. The dreamscape is maintained by the collective effort of the 5 families. If someone were to use the Charmony Festival to recklessly disseminate the power of the Stellaron, this individual must hold a position of great authority. Do you have any suspects?
I'd like to ask, did you really not know of the Stellaron's existence?
I would have never thought that this nameless, would point the spear at me. Quite astonishing indeed.
If I have offended, the Astral Express extends its sincere apologies. But the current circumstances are dire and leave no room for meticulous inquiry. We're doing this out of concern for the Dreamscape's safety. So, if you could, please alleviate our concerns.
Dream Master, it's just to prove that the Charmony Festival has nothing to do with the Stellaron. If we're being overly cautious, I will return to the stage to offer tribute in song, just per the arrangement.
Sunday, Robin. I've watched you two grow up, and know your dispositions like the back of my hand. Both of you, right now, can surely be lauded as their most devout advocates. I already know your resolve. The magnitude of this matter is enormous, and cannot be taken lightly. Since Mr. Yang has asked with such earnestness, I will personally respond in kind. If there is a need, the entire Oak family will be mobilized to heed your call. Someday, might I ask you to beseech them to cast their light unto me, and question me in their stead, so that no lies may be concealed?
I will do as you command.
Robin, could I entrust you to be present as a witness, to document the truth, and to proclaim my innocence, so that all slander may be utterly dispelled?
I will do as you command.
May thy will be carried out on earth, just as it is in the heavens.
Oh, triple-faced soul, please sear his tongue and palms with a hot iron, so that he will not be able to fabricate lies and make false vows.
Let us begin. There is nothing else to prepare.
Understood. Question. Have you devoted your life to your god, never worshipping other gods?
Naturally.
Do you love your god as you do yourself, always heeding their admonishments?
Naturally.
Have you strayed from the path expected by your god, betraying their name?
Never.
Have you ever been inordinate with your asks of your god, coveting more than the foundation of the creation itself?
Never.
Then, a final question. Do you swear to fulfill all vows, past, present, and future?
With the Eon as my witness, if I do not deliver on my words, or if I renege on my vows, may I be cursed in accordance with divine law.
They have seen your faith, and have endorsed your faith. With this, it can be evidenced...
Just a moment.
What is it, Mr. Yang?
I have another question I hope to have answered. To my understanding, the family's harmony and prosperity have never relied on so-called divine laws. The god you both mentioned, are they truly Shipe?
Mr. Yang should know that those belonging to the family toil together as if they were kin, embracing solidarity and unity under their light. All duplicity is laid bare before the harmony. Such a delicate and complex symphony. Which other god could perfectly harmonize this, if not for the great one, Shibe?
Perfectly harmonize. Therein lies the problem. It isn't an outsider lurking in the shadows who changed the harmony, but a dissonance that has surreptitiously emerged from within this very symphony itself. In the distant past, there existed an eon. With one flick of the wrist, they crafted the laws of the cosmos. Their followers formed the Beyond the Sky Choir, spreading solemn and reverent hymns throughout the universe. Later, they fell. The route traversed by this eon clashed with the harmony, ultimately being absorbed and fused into it. The chorus that once reverberated across worlds fell silent, and when it echoed anew, it was transformed into the hymn of harmony. Though an eon may perish, paths with no masters still linger. In the all-forgiving harmony, echoes of bygone dissonance may subtly arise.
Mr. Yang. Being overly astute can be a detriment. Especially when you find yourself alone and without allies.
Eso suena a amenaza.
Totalmente.
So this is how it is.
For the sake of our grand cause, Sunday, please afford these two an opportunity to rest.
What?
Como no, Sandy traicionando a su hermana.
Sorry,
Yo ya
Robin.
me lo esperaba, así es
It's just
que
you.
no me cae nada bien.
I did not
Ese
wish for you
señor.
to know this. It's a pity that things have turned out this way.
A ver, no era complicado saber. Sandy apoyaba las ideas del otro,
This
¿sabes?
is the true reason I can't sing.
Que no me cae nada.
The shadow that envelops Penacony is actually...
We were never children of the harmony. Our ideal paradise could not have been crafted by Shibe. True bliss can only be guaranteed by the one who transcends the many. Within the foundation of law, humanity establishes civilization, and through harmony, we obtain order.
Vaya, vaya. Bueno, pues nada.
Unbelievable. To think that there would be remnants of the Order on Penacony.
Reminiscencia.
What have you done with Mr. Yang and Miss Robin?
Don't worry. I just gave them some time alone to ponder their fates.
You should know that these actions make you an enemy of the Astral Express.
Should we need to stand against the Nameless, it would only be myself and the Oak family involved. But we haven't reached that point yet, have we? Your efforts for the justice of Penacony are evident to everyone, and have been widely observed.
Deja de andarte por las ramas y habla con claridad.
Patience is a virtue. However, I won't hold it against you. On the contrary, I'm here to make my intentions clear.
If it is the Order that drove you to imprison Welt and Robin, and you're using them to coerce our compliance, then there'll be no point in entertaining any type of discussion.
No hay
You're
cerrando la boca.
mistaken, Miss Himiko. They are in very safe hands, and just as the family has always proclaimed, no one can be harmed in the dreamscape, least of all in the beautiful new world belonging to the Order. Penacony and the entire universe have witnessed far too much innocent bloodshed. The strong wield their blades against the weak, and the victors push the vanquished to the brink of life. Natural selection. The world abides by this principle, establishing the well-being of humanity atop the corpses of the downtrodden. Only we, or rather, I, possess the power to put an end to this farce.
So you've decided to resurrect a dead Eon? No one's ever done such a thing.
If Miss Himiko is interested, let's draw back the veil
Una
and speak
pregunta.
candidly. I've always firmly believed that people can understand one another through peaceful means. I'm willing to divulge the unembellished truth as to the intentions of the Order's Pathstriders, so that you will make better judgment for the Astral Express, for Penacony, and for this stretch of the universe. Words can hardly do justice to the beauty of that ideal. So, come with me, everyone. Let us retrace our steps and see once again where this road leads.
Pues nada, si quieres que sí.
Where'd he go?
Ya no lo sé.
Welcome. This isn't any location in Penacony's dreamscape. It's my inner world. The reason the scenery before you remains unchanged is because your consciousness has drawn on similar concepts to fill in the gaps.
Vaya. No se encerraste.
Did you do the same to Welt?
It's a tuning process, stronger in effect and more draining on the mind. The gray-haired guest has experienced it before, so he should understand what it entails. Tuning allows you to intuitively grasp my feelings, which also means that I cannot hide anything from you. Now, everyone, please look at the huge screen. The road we once took begins here.
Mira las pantallas gigantes. Solo está el protagonista.
From this point on, you will
Pollito.
witness the numerous decisions I've faced. I've selected a portion of these to share with you. I believe after going through similar predicaments, you'll be able to better understand my thoughts. Let's begin. The first decision. A story about a baby bird. This story happened when Robin and I were very young. We were victims of the Stellaron disaster, and the family's Mr. Gopher Wood, who would later become the Dream Master of Penacony, saw that we siblings had no one to turn to and took us in. Later on, Robin and I lived a time with nary a care in the world. One day, after dinner, while my younger sister and I were lounging about in Mr. Gopher Wood's yard, we spotted a fledgling Charmony dove all on its own. That baby bird was tiny. It didn't even have all of its feathers, and it couldn't sing. When we found it, it was already on its last breath, having fallen into a shrub, probably abandoned by its parents. We decided to build a nest for it right there and then. However, thinking back, that winter was unusually cold, with fierce winds at night in the yard, not to mention the many poisonous bugs and wild beasts in the vicinity. It was clear that if we left the fledgling in the yard, it stood no chance of surviving until spring. So, I suggested we take it inside, place it on the shelf by the window, and asked the adults to fashion a cage for it. We decided that when it regained its strength enough to spread its wings, we would release it back into the wild. The tragic part, something that we'd never considered, was that this bird's fate had already been determined long before this moment. Its destiny was determined by our momentary whim. Now, I pass the power of choice to you all. Faced with this situation, what choice would you make? Stick to the original plan and build a nest with soft net where the Charmony dove fell. Or build a cage for it and feed it, giving it the utmost care from within the warmth of a home. I eagerly await your answer.
¿Tú qué escogerías, Cora? ¿Construir un nido o hacerle una jaula?
Yo que construiría un nido.
¿Y le dejarías ahí a la intemperie con frío y animales salvajes que pudiesen matarlo?
Vivo en un pueblo. Desde niño ya he rescatado demasiados pajaritos. Se me ha muerto antes el pajarito a mí que lo que dura en la naturaleza. O sea, en la naturaleza lo mismo viene su madre, lo mismo no. Lo mismo otro pájaro decide adoptarle, lo mismo no. Lo mismo es el valerse por sí mismo, lo mismo muere. Pero en una casa conmigo va a morir también. Así que...
¿O no?
Al menos que no vivan encerrados sus últimos momentos de vida. A mí se me han muerto como 10 pajaritos.
Yo es que se los llevaba a mi tío, que tenía un montón de pajaritos. Y los cuidaba.
Yo no. Yo en una cajita con agujeritos. O en una jaula, entonces. Y el pájaro decía, no vivo. Ya lo sé.
Vamos, que para ti el pájaro va a morir sí o sí, así que te da igual.
Sí, el pájaro va a morir sí o sí, así que mejor que tenga sus últimos momentos felices fuera que dentro. Encerrado, en agonía.
A ver, en agonía.
En agonía, las 4 paredes que le dan la casa. En una jaula, yo prefiero que vaya en libertad. Y si muere, era su destino.
Even if I was gonna release it back into the sky, it'd have to be strong enough to fly first. If I left it where I found it, I fear it'd never get the chance to fly ever again.
A ver, ¿qué me comentas tú, Jimmy?
It looks like he really has no intention of imprisoning us. If it's just a quiz, I suppose it's fine to humor him. Back to the question. I would personally choose to build the little Charmony dove a cage.
Pues todos elegirían construir una jaula,
No special
para la
reason.
tortura.
I do think
Pues yo
that
no.
a fledgling should have the right to fly into the sky. But if it can't even live to that point, then there's nothing to talk about to begin with.
Vale, y a ver qué dice 7 de marzo.
That guy just casually throws this kind of question at us? What exactly is his deal? But fine, I'll answer, I guess. If it were me, I guess I'd choose to build a cage for the little Charmony dove. After all, leaving it there, it's bound to get hurt by wild animals or something. And that'd just be too sad.
Me encanta, básicamente te están diciendo, coge lo de la maldita jaula. Yo escogería la jaula.
Yo no cogería.
Elegir criarla con esmero.
No.
Tomar una.
Va a morir.
Happy to see that you made
Va
a
a
choice
vivir
similar to
en
ours.
tristeza y agonía sin
If your
poder
mind is
elegir
made up,
por sí mismo
let
cuando
me
era un
reveal the
pajarito
outcome
nacido
of
para
this
vivir en
choice.
libertad y decidido encerrarlo.
We
Va a morir.
passionately nurture
Es que
it
morir.
back to
es
health,
o que viva un poco más o que
preparing only
muera,
the
o sea.
best food for it every day,
No, o sea, o que viva un
even
poco
cleaned its
más en el
feathers.
mundo en el que se ha criado
Later,
No,
o que
they
muera en
were
agonía.
left
no, que muera en
We
agonía.
opened the cage
Fuera,
door and
en
let
el
it
mundo que lo han
fly
criado,
back
porque
into the
se ha caído
sky.
del nido. Y una vez que el pájaro se cae del nido, padre no le buscan.
Bueno, ya, pues muere. Pero
muere?
muere en ese entorno.
O salvar
Que muera en...
al pájaro.
Sí, buena suerte con él.
¿Ves? La cuidamos con pasión hasta que sanó. Todos los días le preparamos mejor comida e incluso le aciclábamos las plumas. Después del día de que Robin dejó con nivel, abrimos la puerta de la jaula y la dejamos volar hacia el cielo.
Pues
el problema con esto...
Que ellos saben criar un pájaro y yo no, yo los mataba.
Sí, ese es el problema que tenías tú con esto. Pero no. El problema con esto es que una vez el pájaro se acostumbra a vivir con las comodidades que tenía en la jaula, si le sueltas, probablemente no sepa vivir en libertad.
Sí.
Ese es el
Es
problema
que
con ella.
hagas lo que hagas, la vas a poner un problema.
Pero si tú cuidas al pájaro, va a tener una buena vida. A no ser que
Nada.
seas tú Cora y la mates. Pero va a tener una buena vida. Va a estar bien cuidado.
A mí el pájaro no me duraba más de una semana, ya os lo digo.
Ya bueno, pero porque no sabemos cuidar pájaros, ¿qué se le va a hacer? Pero por lo normal hay muchos
Exacto,
pájaros
no
que
sé.
viven en
Ah,
jaulas
sí,
y viven
claro.
años,
Si
¿sabes?
yo supiera cuidar un pájaro, pues sí, pero como que
Efectivamente.
curar un pollito sin mucha pluma, sin tener
Hostia,
así
Cora.
que saber qué le voy a dar de comer, pues...
Bueno, la cuestión es que es cuidarlo bien y saber cómo se le cuida y entonces quedó el auditivo, pues no sé, se escucha fatal. Yo es que le escucho a Cora muy bajo. O sea,
Cosa que no, la verdad.
yo le escucho
Así
bien,
que,
no sé por qué se escucha. Una interferencia horrible, pues no tiene sentido.
pues ni idea.
Están combinados.
La verdad, ni idea.
Sí que la escucho un poquito rara, pero
No sé.
no sé, ¿sabes? Así que eso,
I watched
ese
it
es el
for a
problema que
long
yo
while
veo.
by the window. Probably about 3 or so days. In those 3 long days,
Uf, 3 anuncios, vale. A
little
Carly le han salido
charming
3
dove
anuncios.
tried again and again to spread its wings to fly into the sky,
Entonces,
but fell to the ground,
el problema que veo
only to
aquí
keep trying.
es que cuando tú crías a un pájaro para luego soltarle, tienes que enseñarle a volar. Y aquí, como era niño, no le enseñaron a volar.
Y murió.
Y cuando le soltaron e intentaba volar, se caía al suelo.
Y murió.
Finally, on the 137th
Ese pájaro está
day,
Al
destinado a
final lo
morir.
logró,
it
pero
succeeded.
Que
But
no.
its attempt did not
cayó
go
al suelo.
perfectly. After flying
Porque no sabía
unsteadily
volar,
for a
claro.
while, it fell to the ground, unable to grasp the direction of the air currents.
La cosa es, si no la hubiesen mantenido en la jaula todo el tiempo, y lo hubiesen soltado por la habitación, que aprendiese a volar y tal, en un entorno controlado, para que no se hiciera daño, luego al soltarle sabría volar y no se moriría cayendo al suelo.
Lo que me faltaba, tener un pájaro volando por la habitación.
Por supuesto. No te creas, los pájaros son muy listos. Hay muchos pájaros
Le tengo ahí
que
rondando.
hay muchos pájaros que tú le sacas de la jaula, le tienes fuera y luego se vuelven a meter en la jaula.
Ya.
O sea,
Y luego otros que si se cuelan en la casa van detrás de la estantería y espera tú a sacarle.
sí, pero eso es porque son pájaros que no están acostumbrados a ese entorno, ¿sabes? O sea, no me puedes comparar a un pájaro que ha vivido y criado por un ser humano a uno que ha vivido salvaje. O sea, por favor, Cora.
The fall shattered its wings. It writhed helplessly in my embrace.
Madre mía, llevamos un rato hablando de
But it was all
pájaros.
for naught.
Sí.
En conclusión, no
Finally
voy a tener
succumbing
pájaro.
to a painful
No, ya.
demise. And in
¿Por qué
that
pasa?
instant, our tender care, our given love and hopes,
No, a ver.
they all became the inevitable
Supongo que
push
antes de
that
tener un
sent
pájaro
it to its
estudiaría
death.
cómo criar un pájaro, ¿vale? O sea, nadie sabe sabiendo.
deeply
O
regret
sea,
the
nadie
choices
nace
we made.
sabiendo y eso es normal.
Es igual
Y
que
yo era
conmigo.
una,
Next, let us head to the
yo era
second
una
decision.
cría de 10, 12 años.
This
o sea,
time, it's the
Bueno,
story
y
los
es igual que
of
cuando
pajaritos
a
que...
tienes
dream
hámster,
chaser.
que cuando tienes conejos,
Todo.
cuando tienes gatos, cuando tienes perros.
Sé de alguien que apretó tanto el hámster que se le salieron los ojos.
Joder. Cora, por favor.
No sé, a mí me lo contaron.
Tú y los animales pequeños no, ¿eh?
Oye, que yo no fui, a mí me lo contaron. Otra
Joder,
persona,
Cora.
yo no.
Dios.
Yo
Madre
no.
mía.
El hámster yo no lo toqué, ni siquiera lo conocía.
Cora necesita cosas grandes. Claro, es que le gustan grandes.
Eso ya lo sabíais.
Claro, ya lo sabíamos, Cora, que te gustan. No le den cosas pequeñas. Alejaos de mi casa. Claro, porque Patricia tiene hámster y tiene conejos. No os acerquéis. Fuera.
No, los conejos, con los conejos voy bastante bien, la verdad. Con los conejos no tengo ningún problema. Es más, en la granja escuela terminé llena de conejos por encima. Se me acurrucaban todos encima. Y de repente tenía crías de conejo ahí en... No sé.
Vaya. A ver, la segunda decisión. La historia de busca sueños.
Y las cobayas
story
igual, con las
happened when I was
cobayas no tengo
appointed as
problema.
Bronze Melodia, a position exclusive to the Oak family, charged with listening to the problems and vexations of Dreamscape residents,
El
and
problema
providing
que
them with
tengo
the
pues son ya
relevant
los
guidance.
pajaritos.
It was during that
Pero es que
period
encima no
that I
tengo
had the
problema porque luego
opportunity to
puedo
hear
cogerlos,
voices from
los
all
puedo atrapar
corners
bien.
of the
Que lo que
Dreamscape.
menos mal que después de que lo he hecho
Joy,
también estaba en una granja escuela y yo dije, oye, he atrapado un verdedón, por
arrogance,
favor,
regret,
¿lo cuidáis?
the
Y yo como, vale.
complex tapestry of human nature that
Ay, qué
formed the
cosa,
world.
mira.
And I was fortunate to catch a glimpse of it.
Pero ellos saben cuidarlos.
Claro.
Claro.
¿Sabes lo
Was a
que
dream
digo?
chaser. And
Pero porque está en la
Rico's
granja escuela, pero
stowaway.
esto típico que hay una tormenta y se caen un
Just like
montón
the
de
rest of
polluelos
them, he
de los
came to
nidos, pues
Penacony
eso
in
es.
search of a better
Era
life.
una de estas tormentas de
Except
verano
that, to
y de
most
repente
people,
llegamos los
the
niños y
price
un
he
montón de
paid,
polluelos muertos por el suelo.
I
Y
suppose you
claro,
could
nos
say it
encontramos
was
vivos, pues
everything.
vale, vamos
He
a
told me
llevarlo.
I sold everything I could at home. The house, the land, even his 2 children. He said he could not afford to raise them, and that at least they could eat if they lived as slaves.
¿Cuán desesperado tendrías que estar para vender a tus hijos y decir, ¿estarán mejor como esclavos que si estuviesen conmigo? Es duro, ¿eh? Y ahora no sé si ha desaparecido, ¿no?
No he desaparecido, sigo aquí.
Pues nada. Gracias por opinar sobre lo que acabo de decir, supongo.
Es que no he escuchado.
No,
Se me ha sido por un segundo.
que he dicho que qué tan desesperado tienes que estar para decir que tus hijos van a estar mejores como esclavos que contigo.
He had a plan in place. He would buy back his children once he had made his fortune, and
Se ve bien.
enjoy Penacony's beautiful dream
Pero me sigue
without.
cayendo mal.
Alas, his plan to
Se ve bien
smuggle
mientras
himself
habla
was
de
somewhat
los niños
clumsy,
esclavos.
and he was sniffed out
Se
by
ve bien
those
en la foto, pero no me cae
pig-headed
nada
hounds.
bien.
After hearing the Dream Chaser's story, I immediately appealed to the Bloodhound family to cease their pursuit. That way, at least he could live peacefully. But I was still too naive to the ways of the world. I did not anticipate that what I thought was a kind gesture would later lead to dire consequences. I'll tell you the outcome soon. For now, I'd like you all to make a choice. Will you do as I did, and try to convince the Bloodhound family to stop their pursuit, so that the Dream Chaser may live peacefully and realize his wishes? Or will you remain silent, leaving him to languish while the hounds are hot on his heels, until his inevitable judgment arrives?
A ver.
I look forward to everyone's decisions. Who knows? Perhaps they might even alter the outcome of this tragedy.
A ver, sinceramente, tenían casa. Tenían propiedades y demás. Y aún así vendió todo, incluso a sus hijos, para venir aquí. Y las habitaciones son súper caras. Según lo que parece, ¿no? Solo para hacerse rico, si cabía la posibilidad, porque eso es una posibilidad, no está seguro, entrando ilegalmente al sitio este.
Eso parece.
O sea, en vez de entrar ilegalmente a este sitio, todo eso, si has tenido la capacidad de vender tu casa, sea, es que me faltan datos.
This question. Surely it has some connection to the baby bird story. And this connection is precisely the breakthrough Sunday aims to use to persuade us. I'd probably choose to ask the bloodhounds to cease their pursuit.
Es que te están diciendo otra vez todos en plan de elige lo que eligió él.
A dream chaser story. If I acted out of kindness, I would probably ask the bloodhounds to stop their pursuit and lend him a hand. But what cruel repercussion would this choice result in? I think Sunday must have been deeply impressed by the limitations of the strong defending the weak through this incident.
Es que
Ya.
no estoy a favor de que
Seems
se
illegal
rompan las normas
stowaways
en un
are
sitio.
really quite common on Penacony.
Hola Norsa, ¿cuánto tiempo
But
sin
that
verte?
guy in the
¿Qué tal estás?
story,
Hola.
I don't think he deserves any sympathy at all.
Yo estoy bien.
He sold his kids to chase a dream. Even if he intended to go back for them, it's still
Efectivamente, Marco.
insanely irresponsible. With that thought, there's only one choice. Let the bloodhounds send him back home. This person deserves to be punished.
Marzo está de acuerdo conmigo de dejar que los abusos hagan su trabajo. ¿Tú cuál vas a elegir, Cora?
Esa,
Entonces,
la verdad. Estoy de acuerdo.
guardar silencio. A ver, siempre no, en esta ocasión. Venga, tomar
It
una.
seems you, like me, are pondering whether a different choice could have led to a better outcome. Sadly, his fate would only be more tragic. Say he never gets caught. He would only die from delirium. The methods with which illegal stowaways enter dreams are unorthodox. Not flawless like the hotels. Living in the dreamscape would be a mere pipe dream. Should he be apprehended? Could the hounds afford to turn a blind eye? The answer is a definitive no. They couldn't bear the resulting consequences, and thus wouldn't dare extend a helping hand. As to your choice, I once again offer my heartfelt apologies. Next
que
comes
básicamente
the
se volvió
third
loco.
and final decision.
Perfecto.
And the story this time is my own.
El señor este se volvió loco y ni se volvió rico ni nada.
Happened the day I was appointed the Oak family head. At that time, Mr. Gopherwood was the current Dream Master, and as per his wish, we had a private conversation. What surprised me was that the Dream Master had only come to deliver a letter to me. He let me read its contents, and it was a letter from my sister. The letter contained the usual pleasantries, anecdotes from her travels, nothing out of the ordinary. Just as I started wondering how this letter related to our discussion, the Dream Master began to speak.
Do you know who wrote this letter?
Felicidades, Norsa.
My sister, of course. But why would you personally visit me to hand me a letter from my sister containing mere trivialities?
To help you grasp the full scope of this issue. Do you know where Robin is at this moment?
From what the letter indicates, she must be in Caspelina 8, correct? She's touring there right now.
Correct. Has she mentioned anything about a stray bullet?
A stray bullet? What?
A war has broken out on that planet. It is because of this very reason that Robin chose this destination. To spread the word of the harmony. And to save the lives of that planet. She personally made for the front lines. She hoped to ease the
Ay,
people's
que no se
suffering
funciona.
and
Esa la
sorrow,
tenías tú,
and
¿no?
was willing to
Supongo,
brave
sí.
mortal danger to deliver the IPC's medical supplies.
A mí me gusta el otro.
Unfortunately, stray bullets show no such compassion.
Is she all right?
If the operation was successful, she should probably be recovering in the field hospital. By the eon above, the bullet struck her neck directly, yet possibly as a reward for her consistent deeds of harmony, it didn't hit any vital arteries. Once you've attended to your outstanding
Que si por
tasks,
esto no puede
it'd be
cantar.
advisable to write her back as soon as possible.
Those
No creo que sea por eso.
I'll pack my bags right away.
Porque lo ha dicho
My gratitude
antes,
for bringing
cuando
this to my
se
attention,
entrevistó con
Mr.
ella.
Gopherwood.
El motivo por el que no podía.
Sí, porque está
Now
opacando
you
la armonía.
understand why she always wears
Pero le han
such
dado una bala en
elaborate
el
neck
cuello, ¿sabes? O sea,
ornaments, don't you?
Ya, bueno,
How could this happen?
es eso. Ahí es todo es
Robin.
posible, es el mundo de los sueños.
It's all in the past, so please don't worry. I share this in the meager hope that you will understand the harmonies, limitations, and predicament. As grandiose as the strong defending the weak sounds, many times, it is nothing more than wishful thinking. Likewise, I've prepared one last question, one last choice.
Espero que te salga
But
el
rest
fondo
assured,
también.
this choice will not have any grave consequences. Because this is merely a figment of imagination, a nightmare that has haunted me through countless nights. If you ever had the opportunity to make a choice like I did, would you still support Robin's journey on the path of harmony?
Pues yo la apoyaría. Es decir, si es lo que a ella le hace feliz y es su elección, ¿por
Total.
qué no la apoyarías? O sea, se va a poner en peligro, sí, pero... En plan... Es su elección. Tú no puedes coartar su libre albedrío, ¿sabes?
Exacto.
Que estamos todos. Vamos a hablar con el resto.
Can't believe that happened to Miss Robin. The strong defending the weak is a great mantra, but if I had to pay such a price, I don't know what I'd do.
Vamos a hablar con Jimé.
I often feel like I've dreamt of similar scenes on certain nights. In the dream, I see blurry faces. I don't know who they are, but I sympathize with all of them, fighting for survival against some unfathomable force. Their confusion and fear are lucid to me, but I also remember they chose never to give up. Just like Miss Robin. If Mr. Sunday's question leaves you puzzled, you should find the answer from your own experiences.
¿Y vosotros, chat, qué
With
pensáis?
each trailblaze, dangers and tribulations will surely follow.
¿Dejaríais
But
que
would
Robin
you
se fuera o
ever
no?
back away?
Yo sí.
Would you stop
Vamos,
March and
si es la
Don
decisión que
Hawk
yo
from
tome.
reaching their next destination?
Adelante.
I believe you have an answer of your own in your heart.
No, ¿cómo que no? ¿Por qué? O sea, después de lo que hemos escuchado, evitar que Robin se vaya de viaje porque ha puesto su ilusión o... No, por llevar la contraria. Oye, por llevar la contraria no. Dame una razón de por qué dejaríais que Robin se
Miss
fuese
Robin's courage is
a
admirable.
ayudar en el frente o no.
And here I was thinking she was just another
Que se vaya, pero,
superstar
bueno, no.
celebrity. But the fact that she's also
Madre
Mr.
mía.
Sunday's younger sister? No, I doubt he'd wish harm on his own flesh and blood. No matter how
Que me
grand the
parece por
ambition.
vuestra parte. No sé. Ana, vamos a apoyar a Robin en su decisión. Tomar una decisión.
I see. I am now aware of everyone's stances. Raising these questions merely serves to illustrate one point. The plight of Penacony cannot be salvaged by the harmony. The true foundation for a sweet dream paradise can only be established through the order, where the strong govern weak. I know the suffering of being tormented, the turmoil of losing your way, how sorrow and even despair set in when matters don't work out. All of this causes me unending pain, because this is not what happiness is at all. We must teach the weak how to live a happy life. And this life isn't some noble propriety that the upper crust preaches, but in definitive terms, a way of survival that belongs to everyone.
So what is your definition of living a happy life?
Good question. Human consciousness is fundamentally an illusion, a cage known as self-worth. People lured in by this illusion make mistakes, yet still ask that external influences bear the burden. When one mistake after the next permeates the masses, they become impossible to trace. Thus, the amassing of these individual cages culminate to form a prison, a place dictated only by the rule of survival of the fittest. Nature is always accompanied by predation and sacrifice. Its antithesis is known as order. That is what I want to do. Unite people's happiness under the banner of order. They won't need to make bitter choices any longer, nor face the weaknesses of humanity. They can cast aside their primal instincts to build a haven for mankind. Simply describing
Esa es la
thoughts
publicidad,
is
vaya,
far
lo han
too
arreglado.
abstract. So allow me to
No,
provide a
sale sin.
simple example.
Algo así.
As you all may know, there are societal norms like weekends and long weekends that exist on some worlds. During these hard-earned rest days, people are given the chance to extricate themselves from the stresses of everyday life, allowing a certain tranquility to return to their souls. And it is only on these days that people do not have to adhere to the law where the strong prey on the weak. They can live out their lives happily during these brief intermissions. It's just a pity that 2 or 3 days are still too fleeting compared to the span of a lifetime. From where I stand, society's ideal system should be 7 rest days. Following Sunday, there should ensue a second, a third, and indeed an infinite procession of Sundays. This
Que
should be
todos
the
los días
face
sean
of the new
domingo,
world.
ojalá.
Idyllic,
Ojalá.
eternal, peaceful
No
days.
tener que trabajar nunca.
And thus, every person can return to their base selves in this utopia.
Ah, bueno. Vale, está
Some
decidido
days in
sacarme tu
reverence of the
directo y mandarme
stars,
a otro.
pouring their whole
Gracias.
beings into calculating the distance
Sí,
between
de repente
us
decidí
and the
mandarme tu
isolated
directo.
world of
¿Qué
Pagana.
ha pasado?
Meanwhile, some seek refuge in quiet corners, holding one another, unencumbered by the chains of unwelcome obligations. There would be no need to bear the hardships of reality. Only in this way can humanity face the inevitable end with the purest of spirit, living a life of dignity. This is what it is to live in bliss. Miss Firefly, you who are stricken with entropy loss syndrome, you of all would surely understand this.
It sounds like a flawless theory.
Nada es perfecto en esta vida.
But What is the price to attain all this?
Tiene un precio, efectivamente.
The cost is minute, merely a personal and eternal sacrifice. If this paradise is to be maintained for everyone, someone must remain trapped in solitary awakening until the end of the cosmos.
Awakening. Which means that this so-called paradise is still a dream. Stepping into this paradise means forsaking reality, correct?
Vaya.
It is not forsaking, but transcending. Flesh, blood, sorrow, weakness. If the physical is the root of spiritual suffering, it is only logical that we defeat it.
But in this supposed bliss, people won't have defeated their demons. The chance to overcome their tribulations would be forever lost to them. In other words, it is an escape.
That's another way of understanding it. But there is no shame in escape. On the contrary, the seeds of escape exist in everyone's hearts. Don't you agree, Miss Firefly? And as to why we sleep, it is because we are afraid to awaken from our dreams. But this is not in conflict with the grand plan. Only in acknowledging this can we truly understand the frailty of human nature, and from there, show compassion and protection.
I admit that you are a born leader. Your perspective on humanity brims with pessimism. Yet you express compassion for all, even when your heart pities them. But unlike you, I live for the self. From my perspective, individuals making choices for themselves is their birthright. The want to escape may be innate in the weak. But whether they are weak or not, it is not up to another to decide.
Efectivamente.
Perhaps in your mind, you also view me as weak? Because I don't think so.
Since Miss Firefly has said her piece, the Astral Express will also naturally give you our answer. We'll leave it to you, just as Mr. McHale instructed before. Tell him our choice.
Bueno, vale. Nunca sabremos la respuesta. No hace mucho.
What is this place?
Does this place ring any bells, Misha?
I don't know, but I feel a sense of déjà vu. What is this place?
It's the realm within a dream bubble. This was left to the Astral Express by a nameless, but weirdly, when we entered it, it was completely empty. Dr. Edward from the Dreamscape sales store told me that dreams are formed from memories, and a dream bubble can't take shape if its core is empty. So I thought you might be able to help us in unraveling this mystery, Misha. As a hotel doorman, you know Penacony best among us.
I don't know much about dream bubbles, but if you want to figure out what this mansion is, I'll do my best.
I'm counting on you then.
Himeko, I still don't get it. Why were you so sure that Misha had a connection with this dream bubble?
I wasn't sure. It was just a hunch. But since Misha feels familiar with this place, my hunch might be correct.
Creo que he visto dónde es este lugar.
Exactly. This is where you and Firefly encountered death, which we now know as dormancy. Considering its connection to Dreamflux Reef, it's not surprising it appeared here. The question now is,
Bueno,
who
bismita, por
brought you
favor.
here? Based on the clues we have so far, it's unlikely to be that masked fool. So identifying them is crucial to us. We're drawing closer to the truth
Y
once
si me
more.
coges.
Let's give Misha some time, as I believe he'll unveil the secret of this dream bubble.
All right, but there are doors all over the place. Which one should we choose? Do you have any idea, Misha?
Mis. Eso me parece muy chulita, la verdad.
No sé.
Lo
I
mismo. Es
guess
que me da.
maybe this way?
Se me han cruzado los cables.
Supongo que por aquí, pues vamos.
I'm not entirely sure, but let's give it a try.
Pues venga, probemos. Ya puede salir mal aparte de todo.
Wait,
Oh.
you managed to choose the right door on your first...
Dijeron que
Weird.
primera vez.
This place is quite different from the hotel. But I feel like I've been here before, and even lived here
Esta no
for
es
a while.
la
If
casa de
I remember
relojito.
correctly, there should be a fireplace down that hallway. Clocky and I used to sit by the fire,
Madre mía,
listening to the crackling of firewood.
puede ser.
And the room on the other side was the toy room. I loved spreading out all the toys from the box on the floor and making up stories for each of them. Hold on. This doesn't make sense. Didn't I grow up in Dreamflux Reef? So, what is this place?
This could be a case of amnesia. But don't worry, Misha. It's common for everyone to forget certain aspects of the past. Those memories haven't vanished. They're just lying in the depths of your mind. We can
Tim-
surely get them back.
¿Te imaginas que Misa es el
Since
relojero que
this
se ha
place seems
reencarnado?
familiar to you, why don't we explore a few more rooms
Pues yo no te digo
and
que
see
no, la
if you can
verdad.
recall anything
Siendo amiga
more?
de relojito y habiéndole
Yeah.
visto con
Then
relojito hace
let's
tiempo,
check out the rooms I just mentioned.
no sé, su pasado, su hijo,
Su hijo.
sí, su nieto,
Tick-tock,
es su bisnieto, yo qué sé.
tick-tock, tick-tock.
Perturbador.
Mm.
Ahí estamos con la chimenea. A ver qué nos cuentan.
Mikhail, that's the name. Now we all know him as the Watchmaker. So, who is he talking to? Do you know anything about it, Misha?
I'm sorry. I don't know much about the Watchmaker. But, Mikhail...
Anything special about that name?
Mikhail is
Oh,
Grandpa's name.
su abuelo. Vaya, vaya.
Grandpa?
Eso, bueno.
Do you mean you're the Watchmaker's grandson?
But we haven't heard anything about the Watchmaker having descendants. And the name Mikhail is not rare. Perhaps it's merely a coincidence.
Puede ser una cosa. Bueno,
Could
coincidencia.
you tell us more
Se
about your
viene.
grandpa, Mikhail?
Yeah, sure. He was a seafarer who fearlessly ventured into mysterious seas and storms. He was always on the sea and had lots of friends who accompanied him on his travels. He didn't want me to call him Grandpa because that would make him sound old. He believed he was still young. The name Mikhail was given to him by his parents, Mihaly and Elise, both renowned seafarers.
Veremos, veremos. Si es lo
Every
bueno.
time he came back, he'd share his logbook with me and tell me about his adventures at sea. I want to become a great adventurer, just like him.
It appears that the Seafarer has nothing to do with the Watchmaker. So, perhaps it's just a coincidence? So, where is your grandpa now?
He went off on a new journey, and it's been quite a while since I last saw him. So, where has Clocky gone? Did he leave to protect Dreamville?
Así que tienes que mantenerte a salvo también. ¿De acuerdo, Mike? Te lo prometo.
TikTok, very important. TikTok. I heard some noises from the room. Origami Bird? That's a friend of mine.
You and Origami Bird are friends?
Me encanta los
Yeah,
textos flotando.
it's a member
Es
of the
divertido
Compass
leerlos y a
Crew,
veces escuchar voz.
just like Clocky and Miss Mirror. And there's more than
Perturbador,
just one
pero divertido.
Origami Bird.
No te he entendido una
They are a
mierda.
big family
Te
with
digo
lots of
que es
brothers and
muy
sisters who
divertido
look the same.
leer esos textos que flotan en el
They
aire
follow
y a
Miss
veces
Mirror's
escuchar
orders
voz.
and handle all
Sí.
sorts of jobs on the ship. They're the best
Aunque divertido no
sailors.
sería la palabra que yo utilizaría.
Que a veces puede ser
Sailors?
un poco
Can
perturbador, pero que
Origami
está
Birds
guay.
be sailors?
Could you tell us more about the compass, Misha?
The Compass is a ship bound for the New World. Clocky and his partners travel through layers of fog to the depths of the sea. Whenever there is danger, Clocky will use a compass and guide the ship in the right direction.
That's a great story. But in the Penacony cartoon, Clocky and his partners have always lived in Dreamville and never ventured out, right?
Huh? Oh, that does seem to be the case. Weird. I clearly remember Clocky arrived in the New World in the end.
Perhaps Clocky has a hidden past.
I think I hear the sound of water.
You once mentioned there's a magnificent fountain up ahead.
Me protegerá. Igual que hicieron con relojito. De hacer villansueño. Despierta solo para llorar a Honey en nombre de la
Look,
admisión.
there it is.
The water resembles a precious jewel, embedded in the dreams of all seafarers. Every time I gaze at the shimmering lights beneath the waves, it feels as though I'm back in this place, standing by your side.
Animales marinos.
Have you recalled anything, Misha?
Yeah, I saw these sentences in Grandpa's logbook. He used to say that despite the perils of the sea, whenever he stood on the deck in the afternoon, overlooking the sparkling waves, he would think of this fountain in front of his house. He often said that those moments felt like returning to his family's side, and the difficulties at sea didn't seem quite as challenging.
You know, I quite understand such sentiments.
No suspiro, tu cabello comenzará a volverse blanco.
Hey, don't tease! I was just being a bit sentimental.
Perhaps every adventurer far from home carries a fountain within their soul. Even though the other side of the sea remains shrouded in the unknown, the fountain in front of his house serves as a compass, leading him back to his cherished ones.
Yeah, while Grandpa was at home, we would stand by the fountain and place the compass, a toy boat that I made, into the pool. Back then, I would ask him when I could go on adventures like him, and he would always laugh and say I was still too young.
It seems this Mikhail is truly a seafarer and has nothing to do with the watchmaker.
Yeah. Based on Misha's recollections, the scenes in the dream bubble appear to be his childhood memories.
But this raises more questions. According to Misha, he was clearly born on an oceanic planet and led an ordinary life, with no connection to Penacony at all. Could this be some sort of metaphor? Perhaps the C refers to the memory zone.
I'm sorry. I don't know, but my memories keep pouring out uncontrollably, like water flowing from a fountain. Perhaps I'll remember more things if we go further.
Veremos si recuerdo más
I
cosas.
wish to share your burden.
Ok.
We're going to the opposite side, right?
No, we should turn left here.
Quiero compartir tu carga.
Huh? Something feels different about this place.
This is it. I remember this corridor.
Quiero ir.
Up ahead is Grandpa's study.
Que vayas.
It was in that room that I
¿Regresarás?
saw him the last time.
Let's continue sailing. We've arrived.
Dirigimos en la dirección correcta. Nos revelándonos sobre las grandes dificultades. Por fin se ilumina la niebla. Al cruzar el océano llegaremos a nuestro destino. Y nos hemos perdido tantas veces. Pero al final hemos llegado a al nuevo mundo.
The atmosphere in this room feels totally different.
Misha! You finally come!
Clocky, you're here! Huh. Yeah. This is the room where we first met each other.
Are those books on the bookshelf logbooks left behind by that seafarer?
Yeah. Whenever he came back, he placed a logbook on the bookshelf in his room. They contain records of his expeditions to every corner of the world. He described our world as a fountain. At some point, the sea started to gradually swallow up the land where people lived. To ensure that everyone had land to settle on, he had to continue exploring the sea and search for the source of the rising seawater. On that day, he called me to his study, telling me that he was embarking on another journey. However, I could sense the gravity in his expression.
Uf, qué duro.
It was the same look I had seen on my father's face before his final voyage. I asked him if I could go with him, but he said that my adventure lay elsewhere and told me to stay home and patiently await a certain sound at the door.
What sound?
He told me about a vast ocean in the sky, an ocean of stars. He spoke of a train that
Hablaba de los
transports
trazacaminos,
children
del
with
espeso
desire to
astral.
venture far away,
Mm,
traversing the sea of stars without ever
No
stopping.
llores, Cora.
He said that
qué chulo.
he knew the crew on the train, and that
Tan
he had
bueno.
asked them to take me along. He said the journey I had always dreamed of would start there.
Que por cierto,
A
espero que terminen
train?
de hablar pronto
Could it be?
y poder dejarlo hasta aquí.
It's the Astral Express. I remember now. Grandpa's friends are a group of nameless who came to this world to resolve a disaster caused by a star.
El estelaro.
Then, he gave his pocket watch to me. It was his cherished treasure, appearing in every one of his adventure tales. He explained that difficult times were ahead, but assured me that the watch would guide me. He said, as long as I kept moving forward, I'd eventually reach my desired destination. And then, it was as if I heard the distant sound of a train whistle, echoing throughout the room.
Exactly, Misha!
and then we followed that whistle, didn't we?
Yeah. I think I can still find the way we took back then.
Pero no quiero quedarme aquí ahora.
This is the dream jigsaw, right? So we're supposed to find the exit.
Cuando acabe la animática.
Where can we find the last...
Do you remember? You said
O
you
sea,
obtained a
olvidarme.
mysterious
Podemos
shard
moverlo.
when you stumbled into this
A ver,
place.
ya me puedo mover.
Ah, yo
Hey,
también.
the shape
Bueno, pues
seems to
seguimos
match.
un poquito más,
So
pero solo
this
porque son
shard
las
is
2
also connected to
Pero un
Misha?
poquito.
Looks like we're just one step
Sí,
from
sí, ya
revealing the
controlo.
truth. Let's get to the other side and investigate.
Atravesemos el marco.
This is it. This is my room of clocks. While I spent my time waiting for Grandpa to return from his voyage, Walter gave me this workshop, and it became my secret base. Here, I learned how to repair clockwork and gears, out of my fondness of precision mechanics. In my dreams, I was the captain of the compass, embarking on adventures with my companions, Clocky and Miss Mirror, in search of the new world. I was born and raised here.
So, this building in the dream bubble is your childhood home?
Yes, but not exactly. To be more precise, this dream bubble itself is my home.
Looks like you've remembered
Curioso.
everything now.
Wait. Why does it feel like everyone else knows something I don't?
Sí, solo tú sigues sin tener ni idea.
Marge, do you remember when he mentioned a clocky that only he could see?
Yeah, the little guy here, right? But we all saw him in Dreamflux Reef, right? And Mr. Yang even greeted him.
Looks like everyone on the Astral Express has a childlike spirit.
The answer lies in the Astral Express. His experience shows that neither Firefly nor Acheron can see this clocky. And when we were in Dreamflux Reef, you may have noticed that for some reason, nobody outside of the crew had ever talked with Clocky.
Un momento, en serio, no me voy a fijar.
A mimetic life that can only be seen by a select few. It's just like a hidden message left by someone for the
O sea, que
nameless.
aquello que dejó el relojero,
But
pues relojito.
Misha can see Clocky too, right? They even grew up together. But Misha hasn't started the way of the Trailblaze yet.
That's the key to the mystery, March. Now, take a moment to recall. Have you ever seen anyone outside of the crew interact with Misha?
Wait. No way!
Ostras.
That's the answer, March 7th. This dream bubble is the place where I was born. And I'm a dweller in this dream. Just like a memory zone meme.
Qué bien.
I should have stayed here and waited for you. But when reality and memories merged, I unconsciously pushed open that door and left the bubble with Clocky.
So it's not that the Watchmaker's dream bubble is empty, but rather the stuff inside ran away?
Maravilloso.
And the whistle you heard, was the sound of the Express arriving at Penacony?
That's one way to see it, but I believe there's a longer story behind all this. It's best for Misha himself to explain all the details. How about we start with your name? Now, should we call you Misha, or...?
Thank you all for helping me rediscover my true self. Now, please allow me to reintroduce myself. I was born on Lushaka, in the Presmere system, adopted by seafarers Mikhail and Char. They gave me a treasure, a name that carried their hopes. Mikhail Char Legwork, or simply, Misha. If you prefer, you can call me by a more familiar name. The Watchmaker.
Sí, pero...
So, you're the Watchmaker himself?
Unfortunately, that legendary figure is no more. I am only a reflection of his life. As for the child who has been with you, he's the innocent protagonist of Misha's childhood dream. A friend of Clocky, a young apprentice, and a future mechanic on the Express. And this also marks the beginning of his journey, devoted to the Trailblaze.
At the end of the journey, I left this little flame, which I so cherished, in my deepest dreams, hoping to pass it on to the nameless of future generations. However, he somehow left the dream bubble and forgot all about his task. I apologize for all the confusion this caused.
Because he was born with a desire to trailblaze, wasn't he? I don't think Misha has forgotten his role as a guide. He remembered it, and that's why he mistakenly appeared as a hotel doorman in his dream from the very beginning. The one who brought our unconscious friend here must have been Misha. If that's the case, we encountered the Watchmaker's legacy from the beginning, didn't we?
Irónico.
Well, I have a sarcastic friend who says I always take big detours and end up back where I started. Perhaps that's what every nameless has to go through. But in the end, you found me. I'm sure you're all wondering what my legacy is. I believe my hound has mentioned the Stellaron and my wealth. If I may apologize, the Stellaron part is real. As for my wealth, however, it's nothing more than a baseless rumor. I left my homeland as a child and embarked on the journey of Trailblaze. I traveled to various planets until finally reaching Asdana, where my friends and I built the original Penacony and fought for its future ever since. I've been moving forward all my life, doing what I could to overcome the obstacles in my path. But ultimately, my journey reached its end, and I left behind no possessions worth entrusting. So, if you ask what's left within this worn-out train engine that can be called a legacy, I suppose it's the things that are still burning in the engine's furnace. Now that you're well aware of the current situation of Penacony, I certainly hope that you'll help me get this world back on track. But I'll leave that decision to you, for the path of Trailblaze is never paved by others. All I have for you is a story and 2 gifts. I want to give you my pocket watch. It has accompanied me throughout my long journey, guiding that naive child forward, and has been blessed with the presence of so many great people up to this day. And my hat, too. The one who navigated for me placed it on my head and planted a fanciful thought in my mind.
The trailblazing expedition will never end. Now, it's time for you to make your choice. Once you've made up your mind, open that door and enter the long dream of an old man. I'll be waiting for you at the end of this corridor of time.
All right, everyone. Let's make a decision. Although I don't think anyone will have any objections.
Objeción. Yo elijo el león, amigos.
Of course. We've come this far. Surely there's no other option than moving forward.
In that case, it's unanimous. Then let's proceed together to the end of this dream and tell Mikhail our decision.
Vamos a hablar con Miquel. O lo dejamos ahí. Lo que pasa es que no sé cuánto queda de la misión principal. ¿Cora? Que si lo dejamos aquí, vamos a hablar con Miquel. Porque no sé cuánto queda de la misión principal tampoco.
Claro, aquí nunca se sabe, porque lo mismo dura mucho, lo mismo no.
Bueno, si no podemos hacer la misión temporal que está sin nada que hacer.
De momento dejémoslo por aquí. De momento lo dejamos por aquí y el mes seguimos. Y ya vemos.
Interrumpir el desafío y guardar el progreso.
Porque yo tengo algo de sueño y mi mente solo da para una cosa.
Memories seem to be different again.
Creo que quizá deberíamos terminar este sueño.
Bueno. Avancemos entonces.
Porque luego al volver no sé exactamente dónde nos va a dar.
Bueno, pues no. Claro, es como una especie de domingo, ¿verdad?
Por eso mismo.
Venga, sí, vamos.
Mikhail, where are you going?
Someone has to step up and save Lushaka. So why can't it be me, Misha?
Please don't go. And if you must, please take me with you. Don't leave me alone.
Even without me, you know how to proceed forward, brave Captain Misha. The compass is waiting for you. Haven't you always wanted to be a better adventurer than me? Now go, board that train and start your journey.
Where are you going, Mikhail?
I'm going to clean the floor in the parlor car. I've promised the conductor.
Wait, first tell me, did you fix this watch?
Yeah.
I know what it looked like before. Its chain was broken, the back case torn, and the marks on the dial all worn out. How did you manage to fix it?
Well, it's hard to explain, but I knew it could be fixed. It's the hands, Mr. Amundsen. Its hands were intact and pointing in the right direction, so I knew there would be a way to fix the rest.
I see. You'll work with me from now on. Haven't you always wanted to tinker with this train? You're its mechanic now. As for the conductor, I'll do the talking.
But I only know how to fix watches.
Don't worry. You've got what it takes. I'll teach you what you need to know.
Where are you going, legwork? It's time to head to our next stop.
I'm staying in Astana with Rosalina and Tiernan.
I see. This place reminds you of home.
The people of Astana have only achieved a tiny victory and still have a long way to go towards true freedom.
Hanunu needs us. Don't worry, not all journeys lead to the stars. Even if I leave the Express, our path of trailblaze will continue.
Yeah. I knew you wouldn't stay on the Express forever. Leave in peace, my friend. And, take this with you.
This is Mr. Amundsen's hat. But why?
When he departed, he said he would leave it to his best student. Well, I suppose the time has come. Farewell, legwork. Take care of Tiernan and Rosalina. And don't forget to write to us.
Where are you going, Watchmaker?
Don't worry, Micah. Just going on a little trip. Someone has to be at the forefront of the interstellar frontier, and I'm the only former nameless in Penacony. So why can't it be me?
Because you're all we have! Have you forgotten about Tiernan? The cosmos is way more dangerous now. What will happen to Penacony if we lose you too?
But what will happen to Penacony if we don't find a way out? Ah, Tiernan. How could I ever forget him? I've spent countless sleepless nights asking myself why I didn't go with him back then. We Nameless won't stop. Don't worry, Micah. It's just a matter of getting back to my old profession. Just wait for me to come back. But if, and it's a big if I don't come back in one piece, then you'll become the next Watchmaker.
Where are you going, old man?
Oh, you're here.
Answer my question. What are you up to?
Relax, Gallagher. I just came up with a great idea. Wanna hear it?
Oh, come on. Aren't all your ideas just ways to get yourself killed? I may be blunt here, but you're the last remaining hero in Penacony. If you die too, the secret of the Stellaron will go to the grave with you.
Yes, I'm afraid there's no way out in Penacony, so I'll have to consider alternatives beyond Esdonna. We'll organize a festival using the Watchmaker's legacy as a facade, and send invitations to the entire cosmos to gather people here.
So, a desperate struggle against the family?
Desperate? Don't we have you here, my friend? This task is challenging, but what hasn't been challenging for us along the way? Well, whatever you do, remember, make sure to send an invitation to the Astral Express.
Misha! Where are you going?
Oh, it's you, Clocky. Take me to Dreamflux Reef. Last night, I had a long dream about the day we met. I want to write down that dream.
Write it down? Why?
Oh, so I won't forget it. Do you remember how you got your name, Clocky?
Of course! You told me that when you were a kid, you lived in a room full of clocks. Those wall clocks and pocket watches grew up with you and were your best friends.
Yes, but what I didn't mention was there's a funny misunderstanding behind it.
I was a kid, and there was always a special pocket watch in my memories. It was with my grandpa, guiding him on his sea voyages and leading the way in his every adventure story. I wanted to have a pocket watch like that too. And that's when you appeared in my dreams.
Yeah. Every night, we boarded the compass and set sail together.
But you know what? It wasn't until the day my grandpa gave it to me that I realized it wasn't a pocket watch at all. It was a compass. So, your name should have been Compassy. And the watchmaker
Prefiero relojito, la verdad.
is just a
Yo
name.
también, porque el otro no le queda bien.
We've arrived at Dreamflux Reef. So,
No, no andes lento. No quiero.
Clocky, I don't think I'll be going anywhere else.
Va. Oh, no. Oh. Va a estar donde está el cuerpo del relojero.
Ay, por Dios.
Porque claro, es la historia del relojero, entonces va a descansar donde
I've traveled far enough.
terminó su viaje.
It's time for a little break.
Hoy.
Oh. So, we'll set out again. When you're rested?
No, I'll stay here. And then, this is where it ends.
This is where it ends? What do you mean, Misha? You told me that the trailblazing expedition would never end.
Yeah, that's what I said. So now, it's up to you to decide your next destination.
My next destination? What's that supposed to be? I've been following you. Misha? You're acting weird today. If you're feeling down, we can just do what we usually do. With the clockwork.
No, I'm not feeling down. As for clockwork, yeah, it resolves all problems in this dream. So, do you know what clockwork actually is?
I'm not quite sure.
Well, everyone gets lost at times. They may hesitate and doubt which way to go. That happens in this dreamscape and beyond. But don't worry. Everyone goes through moments of uncertainty and hesitation. Eventually, they gather the courage to make bold decisions. Whether it's calming, joyful, angry, or sad, all they need is a little nudge to take that step toward where they truly belong. I'm leaving that little nudge with you, and I hope you'll share it with others. Such is the essence of clockwork, the will of the Trailblaze. Clocky's hands spin around non-stop, indicating confusion, frustration, and weakness. But ultimately, people still need to move forward.
Just like your hands, always pointing ahead.
El espelho.
This is where my journey ends. From now on, it is your path to walk.
Trailblazing
Fíjate
means
en la
taking
película.
paths your predecessors forswore.
Spoiler.
Spoiler. Que nos seguimos como peleas.
The Penacony in Mikhail's dreams does not belong to order.
Le queda muy bien el sombrero, sobre todo.
Sí, le queda increíble.
Me gusta cómo le queda el sombrero.
I can't believe that Eon would cast a glance at Penacony at a time like this. Is it because of the resonance from the legacy of the Trailblaze? Or
Es que me encanta
perhaps
con
the bond
relojito y todo.
between you
Buah.
is so strong that it even impresses an Eon?
Well, there might be another possibility. Perhaps they want to witness, on behalf of the fallen eons, who will hold the future of Penacony.
If that's the case, on behalf of the Dream Master of Penacony and the 107,336 members of the Oak family, I'm extending a formal invitation to all of you. I'm cordially inviting you all to the Penacony Grand Theater to participate in the upcoming Charmony Festival. And, of course, you won't be in the audience, but on center stage. Since the future of the Stellaron, Penacony, and even the entire cosmos is at stake, let's draw a conclusion there, in all fairness. If you truly believe in Akavili's path, then show me their courage and determination.
Anda por una nueva vía. La vía de la armonía. Es un dormo. ¿Quieres cambiar la vía? No me dejas no hacerlo, así que sí. Aquí puedes probar la vía actual para comprender mejor las características de combate. Sí, pero no quiero probarle ahora. Está con el móvil jugando videojuegos. Bueno, pues lo podemos dejar por aquí.
Me encanta el fondo, de la guía.
¿Tuviste su ulti en el...?
Sí, el de las peleas, sí. Se marca un Michael Jackson.
Sí.
¿Qué les pasa a los personajes? Te lo juro, en este mundo, por una extraña razón que desconozco, se marcan Michael Jackson un montón de personajes. Aventurino, el protagonista con imaginario y el policía serio. Por alguna extraña razón se marcan Michael Jackson.
Cuando se marcó el Michael Jackson, ¿carajo?
¿Cuál? El sheriff, dices.
El Budhill.
Ese. ¿Se marca Michael Jackson?
¿Cuándo se marcó Michael Jackson?
Mira el tráiler del personaje, anunciando el personaje para su banner.
Bueno, en el tráiler del personaje.
Te lo juro. Tú mira el tráiler y me entenderás.
Pues nada, despide aquí el directo.
Sí, yo no tengo tiradas.
Yo tampoco tengo tiradas.
Así que nada, pues hasta aquí Honkai por esta semana. Y nos vemos la semana que viene, el lunes. Y nada, gracias a todos por vernos. Y así lo veis mañana. Con Coffee, creo.
Sí, efectivamente, con Coffee.
Sí, aceptado.
Seguiremos jugando contra.
Pues nada, perfecto. Y a mí me veréis el lunes.
El lunes.
Así que nada. Sí. Pues nos vemos la próxima. Chao, chao.
Adiós.
Nice.